Hello everyone, welcome back to my review for you guys today. This is my third and final review for you guys, and my review for you guys today is of the second Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And I want to state this first. I'm not a Sonic fan, I'm not a Sega fan, I'm mainly a Mario Nintendo fan than anything else. And I'll be honest, this movie is not for me. It's not meant for me. It's weird because this movie is clearly calling back to the references of the games and certain things. Like, it's for the fans, it's for the nerds. But it's also weird because a lot of humor is very childish at times, and it's childish for like kids today. But I don't know if kids will understand those references, so it's kind of weird like that. But that's not an actual tonal difference that makes a difference. I mean, like, structural wise, but it's just kind of weird in my view there. But where Sonic, though it's rather a silly story with very, very childlike silliness and broad performances and really tongue-in-cheek references and everything, there's still a lot of heart and craft to this movie that I think really needs to be admired. First off, I'm just going to say things I do really like in this movie. First off, I thought, oh crap, the voice of Sonic, I forgot his name, god damn it, but, I thought the person who was the Sonic was actually a lot more bearable. There's a lot more moments in this movie where I think his character was pulled out more rather than the silly references and everything. This movie a little bit more going for him structurally wise, for his character stepping up, becoming a little bit more mature, knowing how to conduct himself as his own essence of a vigilante and everything in the very beginning, which is quite clever. I like that going for him. I liked how, well, the thing I really like about this movie is how big, fun, and over the top as hell Jim Carrey was in this movie. He recently said this is going to be his last movie. He's retiring from acting. And if you're going to do it in your own damn style, because he really makes the most out of it. Again, it's silly, it's verbose, it's not for me, it's over the top, it's for a younger audience. But there's a lot of funniness and craft to it that I'm just gotta... He's stuck to his guns, and you gotta do what you gotta do. It's his own little role that he just mugs the living hell out of. He's so freaking funny. If it wasn't for Jim Carrey and Idris Elba in this movie I may have just mentally checked out. Because again, like the first movie, all the human characters in this movie are just kind of like snooze-worthy. Like James Marsden, like I'm just like he's likable and he's charming. Like there's a little bit more going for the characters in this movie, but they just kind of shoot them off to a side with a plot. Another plot thing going on with like a friend of theirs getting married in Hawaii, and Shamar Moore, who's marrying James Marsden's wife's sister. Like the lady who plays the sister of the wife, she's hilarious. She absolutely had me rolling. She's the one person who we went, okay, for as obnoxiously dull the humans are in this movie, she's the one human who I think really added a true sense of levity. And I'm like, okay, she was having just as much as fun as the voice cast was, and as Jim Carrey was. The other humans are just kind of like forgettable and cheesy and corny as hell. I mean, like, again, like, the visuals are not half bad. There's a pretty decent action scene. Like, it's weird, because this movie is 2 hours long, but there's an action set piece that's set in the town where they go back to, which they're originally from. And I'm just, like, by that point, I already felt tired. I already felt winded. Because there's, like, a big action set piece where it opens up, like, a part in the sea next to in Hawaii and everything, and I'm like, that there should have been the climax. Like, there was a bit of an action climax finale, action set piece, but it was like, it was more like the step they step out towards it. It was more like at part one, and then in part two, how about in the back in the hometown? It did. It just didn't really have that much of a home. It didn't really have that much of a high stakes intensity to it. I didn't really feel like the stakes or what was going on. Like it literally plays it so silly and safe and corny that to where there's a point where Sonic literally goes Super Saiyan. He goes Dragon Ball Z. He enters like that God mode. Sonic, and he becomes gold and everything. And he's like, bink, and then the whole Doctor Robotnik, like 100-foot, like kaiju size, just falls over and everything. And it's just so silly and verbose and childlike that I enjoyed it. It's undeniably fun, but it's also like out of sight, out of mind. I enjoy the practicality. I enjoy the action scenes for most of it. Yeah. It's to say it's corny is an understatement. To say it's silly is underrating it. But there's such a craft and an undeniable heart to this movie that I do give this movie a lot of credit for. And the one person who really did shock me above all, Idris Elba as Knuckles. What the hell? That's uncanny good. He has such like a great verbose, like, I don't know who you are, but I'll destroy you, Knuckles, for the sake of my race. And I'm just like, the degree of taking it seriously is understated in this movie. Because everyone is just going 100% like so silly and everything, but Idris Elba is the one person who took this seriously. And I do think it pays off for his character because he's so driven to beat him in a like mano way. And it's just kind of be hard. It's fun, but it's also weird because Sonic versus Knuckles feels like the unstoppable force meeting the unhittable object. It's speed versus strength. So within their fights, I'm like, if Knuckles ever hits him, Sonic's out. But if Sonic ever gets him, it's just gonna make no effect. So there's a weird hollowness to their fights that I just never really felt for. Though, as I said, Idris Elba acts the shit out of Knuckles. And that's why I think really does this role strongly well. So yeah. I don't know what to think of this movie overall. I'm probably going to give it a 5 out of 10. It was fun. Well, I would totally recommend it for like kids. Like, I would rather recommend this movie for kids or for people who are hardcore Sonic fans. That's it. Like, for someone like me, I'm just like, I enjoy certain character moments. Actors and certain people do make this movie more worth watching, but it's also not for me. It's the city is corny and silly and I wouldn't say it's melodramatic, but it definitely feels a bit obnoxious of itself. So, yeah. In the end, as I said, it's not for me. It's really not meant for me. Anyway, I don't know what the hell I have to say about this movie. See you, Jim Carrey. We're gonna miss you, man. You're a comedy icon for us. Again, his last role, he gives it his all. He gives it 100%. He's totally out there, and bless him for doing that because he really gives this movie a lot of silliness. And with his character, I never really found that dull moments. There was no moment with him where I was like, okay, he's overselling it. Let's bring him back to reality because we left reality years ago. So, yeah. It's dumb. But fun. But you can do about it.